Well, hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And Jennifer here with nobody this morning, but
we're here. We're just hiding.
James is there. He's pushing buttons with Andy over on the other side. Our good friend Pete Wilson, there he is, as he comes running in.
Almost around.
It was a brisk walk. But Pete is here, so we're going to do the news and talk about all kind of things that are going on. Look at you all nice and plaid this morning.
All right. Well, yeah, it's that kind of day.
Yeah?
Right, exactly.
A plaid day.
Felt like a plaid day.
I like it. Very handsome.
Got the white pants through contrast
I know. I love it. You look very beachy.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you should be in Nantucket or something.
That's right. I try to be very mindful when I accessorize.
Does that mean
not really? It's whatever's the next thing hanging up.
Well, I was going to say, does that mean that Pam picks out your outfit?
She does sometimes. But the reason that I was running just a minute or two late, and I apologize for that, is
it's okay.
I was just getting some information about a very serious fire that occurred yesterday evening here near Jackson.
Okay.
But it happened on the Beaver Pike, about maybe 5 miles outside of town to the west.
Oh.
And the Liberty Township Fire Department was the main responding fire department. However, they had help from the Jackson Fire Department, the Scioto Township Fire Department, and even the Beaver Fire Department on down the road there.
Wow, okay.
But this occurred, the fire call came in approximately 5:30 p.m., and the firefighters were there for about 2.5 hours, but they went to 10774 Beaver Pike, which is the residence of Thomas Washington. And the location would be about a half mile west of Whaley Town Road.
Okay.
And about east of Cove Road in that section there. And because the house was right on the road, and because there were lots of fire trucks and apparati there, they had to close down that road too. So a lot of folks were probably affected on the traffic control as well.
Gotcha.
But it was closed for a couple of hours there because, they had to have a place to put the fire trucks and the hose and all like that.
Hey, Pete, say that address again real quick for me.
It was 10774 Beaver Pike. That's a Jackson address, but of course outside the corporation limit. There in Liberty Township, just before you get to Scioto Township.
So this was the house fire?
This was a house fire. It was a single story, a double wide, and there was nobody home when the fire occurred. The cause of the fire unknown at this time.
You just don't hear a lot of house fires in the summer,
not as many because when the weather gets cold, a lot of times heating related,
right?
Fires occur. People trying to keep their homes warm using a wood burner, or fireplace, or whatever. Heightened chance of fire there, and also just when you're heating in general. But on this fire, talked with Larry Foster, who is the kind of like the spokesman for the Liberty Township Fire Department.
Okay.
He told me that nobody home at the time of the fire. They didn't know exactly what caused it.
There's the house.
Okay, there it is right there. Anyway, they have asked for the state fire marshal's office to come in, and when that happens, it's not necessarily because arson is suspected or necessarily. It's just you have
to
investigate. You have an unexplained fire.
Right.
Thankfully for that, for the folks who lived there, Larry thought it was 3 persons who lived in the residence. The home was insured. The losses were insured.
Okay, good.
He is thinking that even though the structure is still standing, the interior was pretty well gutted. He is counting that as a total loss, and that might be how it gets counted on by insurance. They may or may not be able to rebuild that structure. But anyway, that occurred once again yesterday evening. Just so happened that at the time, the Jackson Fire Department had been called out to Days Inn for an alarm. Now, there was no fire there, but that is where they were when a real fire occurred.
Oh, no.
And so, the Liberty Township Fire Department right now is backing up the Jackson Fire Department on about everything because of the lack of firefighters in Jackson. And actually, that is a problem in a lot of the small town fire departments because most of the folks who are on the fire department are volunteers.
That's right.
There may be a token pay, per hour call out fee or whatever.
But you're just doing it
But for the
For the
most,
good of
for the
your-
most part, yeah, it's service oriented. They are true heroes.
Yes,
These firefighters.
absolutely.
The only full-time fire department we have in Jackson County, or in Vinton County for that matter, is the Wellston Fire Department. And even there, with 3 full-time firefighters, a fire chief and 2 assistant fire chiefs, most of the people on the roster are volunteers.
Yes.
So that was the latest news that we had, and that's what we were gathering there just before we came on the air.
I always hate to hear the fire situation.
Yeah, absolutely. The first meeting of the Wellston City Board of Education with the new superintendent was held on Monday evening, and that is Dr. Brian Rao. Of course, we told you
there he is.
that he would be, conducting that meeting, may have some things to say, and he did. Talked in general about how his first few days have gone there in office. If you're looking there at the picture that James has put up for us, that's Dr. Rao on the left, and then to his right would be Roger Rader, and the other school board members, Betty Jenkins, a total of 5 school board members, but there they are at that first meeting. If you go to the Wellston City Schools website, Dr. Rao has already put on a superintendent's message, which is, I thought, very well done about his feeling and philosophy and what he is going to try to achieve as the chief administrator for the Wellston City School District. Of course, he comes from the Manchester School District down in Adams County, and he replaces Mary Ann Hell from Vinton County, who served as interim superintendent for most of the previous school year, and of course before her, Karen Bach, who was superintendent for some time at Wellston, now at the Gallia-Vinton ESC.
He's so enthusiastic and excited, so I'm hoping that is infectious.
He does come across as a very positive individual, and he really hits hard on this. He hits hard on his background. He started out as basically a substitute teacher.
He did,
and so he really feels an empathy with the educator in the room, not just
because he's been there and done all that.
He's been there, and he knows that the only way he is going to be successful is if everybody is pulling together. That's just not the staff, but the community and whatever. And so he is trying to create these relationships on the fly right now. I know that.
Yes.
All right, but school is starting very soon. We have come around, and believe it or not, to some folks, that's the end of the summer when school starts. Even on the calendar, it's not.
It's not, but it is crazy. I know Jamie asked me this morning, he said, when does school start? I said, I think it's next week. And he was like, what?
Yeah, well, we have.
I think so.
Well, we'll tell you when school starts, all right, because I know it's all over the map. The Jackson City School District starts on August the 15th. That is Monday.
Yes.
They are out of the gates first of our 4 local school districts. Both the Vinton County and the Wellston School Districts will start on Wednesday, August the 17th. And Oak Hill will be a week after Jackson. They start on Monday, August the 22nd.
Okay.
But we're just about at the point where now all the professionals are back in the buildings getting orientation or whatever. Yesterday, I attended a new teachers luncheon for the Jackson City Schools. The 10 teachers who represent the new faculty members in the Jackson City Schools were treated to lunch at La Rosa's Pizzeria. Had a nice buffet there with those huge chocolate chip cookies that they cook up for dessert or whatever. And the new teachers are there on the front row. I'm going to go ahead and name them because a lot of people are going to become acquainted with them, certainly the parents and students who have them. But there on the front row are the new teachers. They are Northview Elementary Intervention Teacher Riley Swingle, Northview Intervention Teacher Allie Garcia, Southview Elementary Intervention Teacher Kristen Crabtree, Southview Special Needs Teacher Rachel Rutherford, Westview Elementary Reading Teacher Deborah Dunning, Westview Intervention Teacher Mindy Jackson, Middle School Intervention Teacher Abby Potter, Middle School Music Teacher Emily Rodesh, High School Librarian Elizabeth Claxon, High School Band and Elementary Music Teacher Mallory Scallop Wilson, and High School Math Teacher Derek Pratt. Now, the folks on the back are all their bosses. You got Superintendent Phil Howard, many members of his administrative staff, and you have the building principals there as well.
Gotcha.
And School Board Member Kim Harless was also in attendance. We'll have that picture there in our Saturday paper. Back to the Wellston School Board meeting that was held on Monday. They do in-service as well, but some of the new teachers that were hired just before the school year at that meeting, they were there for a picture as well. So we'll show you their picture. There is Dr. Rao, of course, on the right. On the left is School Board President Terry Gill, and these are 2 of the 3 new school teachers who were hired at the Monday meeting. There are others, but these were the ones who were hired with the school year just basically more than a week away. And there in the middle are Heather Kilgore and Stephanie Ousley. They are the new teachers that were hired at the school board meeting on Monday. And once again, the Wellston City School District starts on Wednesday, August the 17th. All right, a lot of people get excited about the school year, sports going on, football and like that, but just working as hard in the summer with band camps and like that are our local bands.
Yes.
And all the local bands have been through their so-called preseason workouts. That is the Jackson High School Band performing at the Meet the Band night, which was held recently on a Friday evening. And the directors for the Jackson Band program, we're going to show you them as well. There they are, and we're going to show them to you left from left to right. Majorette instructor Alicia Mannering, flag director Sarah Harris, flag director Ashley Ross, and the director of bands Ryan Hurd, assistant director Keith Wilson, and Assistant Director Mallory Wilson, and staff member Mary Elizabeth Billman, who has helped for many years, as we know.
She has.
But that is the brain trust for the Jackson Marching Ironmen, and I understand 170 members.
Yes.
It may be
believe
the
that?
largest band in southeastern Ohio. It's between them and Logan. So
That's a lot of instruments.
but anyway,
and kids.
I think we can honestly say that. I can say this with a straight face. The band programs in all 4 local schools are excellent.
Unbelievable.
High participation and great performances. Bryce Wertz, of course, has been doing it for quite a long time down in Oak Hill with the Marching Oaks. Emily Talley is in her 2nd year at Wellston with the Marching Rockets. And in Benton County, there's a new band director, Sam Kugel. Now, Sam is well known here in the Jackson district because he has been an assistant with Ryan Hurd for several years, and now he's got his own band up in Benton County. He's traded in his red shirt,
Band Wars,
his red shirt for a maroon shirt. But there's going to be special band events that will happen. Band competitions that all the bands will be involved in.
Yes,
there'll be the Jackson Apple Festival Band Show on Saturday. The Apple Festival. The Oak Hill program always does a band festival as well in September. It's usually a week before the Apple Festival. I haven't seen a date on that. And Wellston is a so-called competition band. They go to competitions, several competitions throughout the fall, and they try to qualify for state competition, which they almost always do.
That's right. And we were talking when Ella was in here the other day of how fun would it be if they all combined together? You'd have like the biggest band ever.
Right. Well, on some of these local band shows, all the local bands are there, or most of them. So those are great opportunities to see all the bands. And, the band's not a sideshow at like they are at the football games. It's a big part, but it's the halftime show, pregame show. But at these band festivals that they have, or these band shows, the band is the main deal.
Sure.
And that's a chance to see them, and that's a great opportunity. And they usually charge admission for that, and that is a great way to support the band as well as see the local musicians work out.
So were you in the band, Pete?
I'll have to, this will be a true confession thing. They needed a trombone player. I came out in the 6th grade, which was a year behind most kids.
Yeah.
And my mom, even though she was a single mom at the time, but she made the investment for a trombone. And so I learned to play that. And then I unlearned to play that in junior high.
Just as quickly, huh?
Right. And then the new band director in Jackson at that time, who was Bob Crawford, he wanted to make the band better. And he made everybody stand up and do a solo in front of everybody. And I knew I couldn't do that anymore. I could play before, not very good, but I could play. But I forgot everything that I knew, didn't work at it or whatever. And so I'm a freshman, and I'm supposed to stand up and play. And I actually broke out in tears and said, I can't do it. And then,
Pete.
so he made arrangements to give me special lessons with a high school trombone player with a lot more experience. And I learned again, and I played America the Beautiful in front of everybody. But that was the highlight of my band career. because I got out of it. Now, this is the truth. I got out of it after my freshman year. They had a thing called the cadet band then.
That
That was
did,
8th and
yeah.
9th graders. And then you had to be in the 10th grade to be in a high school band. I got out of it after cadet band for this reason. I was a football fan, and I didn't like where the band had to sit for the football games. Could not.
Hey, fair.
I could
Totally
not see the field, could not see, and that was that. So I have a trombone in my bedroom behind the door.
Do you still have it?
It's still there. It's been there now for, let's see, 40 years.
If
And
you
you
don't
can-
bring that in and play it someday.
And you can have it for a very low price. All right, but it's there. So there you have it.
I think he
That's
should
not-
have to bring it in.
That's not terribly different than my band story.
Yeah, right. I think that's
Well,
kind
the-
of everybody's
Oh,
band story.
In Oak Hill, the band was so small, you got to do high school band and junior high. So by the time I was a sophomore, I'd already done it for 3 years.
Oh gosh.
I was like, well, I've done it. I don't really want to
I'm
do
I'm
it.
over this.
Yeah, I don't need to do this for 3 more
Yeah.
years.
But anyway, I mean, it was still a great experience because you're part of something. It's just like being on a sports team. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't make it a priority. And when it came
Sure.
to the football seating, that was the breaking point.
Well, I don't blame you, Pete.
All
I mean,
right.
it's
Okay.
good seats or bust.
All right. I quit on that one. All right. I
All
quit
right.
on
It's
that one.
fine. Totally fine because I am a band quitter myself.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But you are a horse queen.
That's true.
You are, and you always will be.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Another big piece of news that has happened, and we're going to have more information on that. You know, maybe this gentleman will be on TV here one of these days.
Okay.
They have a new ag agent at work now, agriculture agent, for actually agriculture and natural resources specialist, I think it is.
Okay.
But basically, what we used to call the ag agent, Dave Samples, had
Yes.
that job forever here in Jackson
It was our
County.
Dave Samples.
Right.
Yes.
When Dave retired, in about almost 20 years ago,
Mhm.
they didn't immediately replace the position because of money, and that has gone on and on and on. And they didn't even have enough money locally to fund the 4-H position. They had to do fundraisers and like that to
Correct.
keep Aaron Daly working to make up for what the state expected the locals to pay. But now more money is available at the county level. They made a commitment, and an ag agent, they did interviews earlier this year, and that gentleman has been hired and is now
Oh.
at work. I think he just maybe started this week or maybe last week.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot about him. I did talk to him on the phone. His name is Josh Winters,
Okay.
and he does have an extension agriculture background. And he is working out here at the OSU Extension Office. They're right there on Standpipe Road. And he will be in here on Monday to talk with one of the staffers, myself or one of the staffers, through an interview. And at that time, I'm sure maybe we can set him up to be on Main Street TV. And,
Would love that.
and also the radio as well.
That would
But-
be great.
But he is finally at work. They hope that it would be earlier than what it was, but he is now at work. He is the new agriculture and natural resources educator. That is his actual title.
Love it.
And speaking of Aaron Daly, of course,
Yeah, that
now
was
it-
going to be my next question.
now in Gallia County, no longer in Jackson County, nominally at least, they are interviewing to replace her
Okay.
position. It's not that, this is a tit for a tat. We got an ag agent, we've lost a 4-H agent.
Okay.
They are going to be replacing her position.
Well, it's going to be tough shoes to fill.
Right. She oh yeah. Now she just got through the Gallia County fairs. I'm guessing that she might be kicking back a little bit this
I
week.
hope so.
Two
She
two
deserves
fairs
it.
in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but,
that's a lot.
but anyway, that her position will be replaced, and she thought it would be, this summer sometime or
Okay.
towards the end of the summer, and they would certainly be ready to roll as the new year comes and a new fair season comes up, a new 4-H season comes up. All right. You want to talk some COVID-19?
I don't want to talk about that, Pete.
Okay. Well,
I ran into a friend yesterday. She just had it for the third time.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Okay. What did she tell you? Is she vaccinated?
she is not.
Okay. Well, that's
and
that's
chose
a little
not
bit
to.
of it. Right.
But yeah, she just had it for the third time, and I was just like, "Wow, that is rough."
Okay. And about how old is this lady?
I would say 60.
Okay. All right. Was the of the 3 cases that she had, I mean, how severe were they?
Very just felt bad.
Okay.
Like
the
couldn't
flu?
get out of bed. Yes. flu-like.
Okay.
Not like more breathing issues, but like just felt really, really bad.
Right. Well, we remember that the Senior Citizen Center was closed for congregate, in-person activities for several weeks there in July. They started back up July the 26th at
Yes.
Jackson, Oak Hill, and Wellston, the senior centers, the meals, and other in-person activities there. So you know that there were some local cases, probably some preventive concerns because, COVID-19 does tend to have, more serious effects with older people and people with health compromised diseases and so forth. But the COVID-19 cases have inched up throughout this summer. In Jackson County, the latest report was 142 new cases in a 1 week period from July 31st to August 7th. That's a lot, 142.
That's a lot. Yeah.
There are now 151 active cases as of when this report was filed last Monday. In Vinton County, the numbers are up from 43 cases 2 weeks ago to this week, 46 active cases. And they have gone, I can tell you from memory that they have gone up just a little bit, both Jackson County and Vinton County, about the same percentage. In Jackson County, active hospitalizations, there are some people that are pretty sick. 6 hospitalizations
Oh, wow.
a week ago, 8 this week.
Oh, man.
And on Vinton County, 1 related hospitalization a week ago, 3 this week.
You know what?
Very few deaths. I think I can remember maybe 1 in Jackson County this summer, at least 1, and not sure about Vinton County, probably 0.
I'm just sitting here thinking too to myself that, with all of the at-home testing and a lot of the things going on, I'd say that there are many, many cases that aren't getting reported as well at this point.
I always wondered about that, the asymptomatic cases. Well, first of all, a lot of asymptomatic people probably don't even know they have it,
Correct. Or even if you
Because I think
you have it and you test at home and you just don't go to the doctor or
Yeah.
whatever, they're never going to, know.
I'm guessing that a lot of the asymptomatic cases that are confirmed are ones where you get tested because you've been exposed or something.
Correct. And
Or
people aren't doing
it's a
that
work-related
now.
thing, or somebody being very careful before they go on a trip or something.
Right.
But the number of cases are definitely going up. And as a matter of fact, Jackson County and Vinton County are right now designated by the state of Ohio as having high community levels of COVID-19. But the fact is, this goes through most counties in the state. And the official recommendations of the CDC are wear a mask indoors in public, stay up to date with the COVID-19 vaccines, get tested if you have symptoms, and take additional precautions if you are at the highest risk for illness. Now, when there was 140 some cases in Jackson County months ago, you did see some masks and like that.
Sure.
Are you seeing them now?
No, not really.
No. What would you say?
I was in Walmart the other day, and I was pretty surprised how many people were wearing them.
You had some. You saw some.
Quite a
Really?
few. Yeah, quite a few actually.
But
That's more. It may be changing a little bit, but
Maybe.
I've seen very few when I've been out.
Me too.
There always has been. Every now and then you see one, like 1 in 50, maybe something like that. That's just a guess.
I feel like you're right. The last time we had the numbers go up, I feel like I started seeing like a lot of masks. And I was at the grocery the other day, and I kind of pay attention. I didn't see a lot.
Well, and I think one of the reasons you saw more masks, of course, greater unknown at that time, and there were more hospitalizations and deaths earlier in this pandemic, but there was requirements, when you went even to the big box stores that you wore a mask, or they told you to wear a mask. Whether they would haul you out if you didn't, that was questionable. But
you know what I would like to do, and maybe I'll make a phone call to Kevin Aston or somebody. Like, I would like to keep up on the what the suggested vaccine and then boosters and all that. I don't even know anymore what people are supposed to have and what they aren't. And I know some people have taken a 3rd and 4th and 5th booster, and I don't even know what is recommended for different age groups and whatever at this point.
Well, it's kind of I don't know either. It is confusing.
And it's like, if you're vaccinated, say, for example, you're going on a cruise And now they're just asking you to show that you're vaccinated. Well, does the fact that you were vaccinated when you could first get vaccinated count, or does it have to be more recent than that?
Well,
and I don't know the answer to
Right.
those
I've
questions.
been involved in a couple of those situations, and you either had to show the card that you had vaccinated, but in the two cases where there was a COVID-19 protocol, and one of these was not all that long ago, earlier this year,
Mhm.
you had to get tested again.
Mm.
You know, it wasn't good enough just that you'd been vaccinated
Yeah.
at some time in the past. You had to take the test again up front.
Interesting.
But the Jackson County and Vinton County Health Department, about anywhere you go, they are still doing the vaccines. You know, you may have to call and make an appointment or know the hours that you can go, but it's there. You check the websites of the Jackson County and Vinton County Health Department. They may not announce a clinic at a certain time, but they are still giving the vaccines. And I think the official recommendation is to get them, even though it is also true that a vaccine is not, a surefire way to prevent getting COVID-19, as we have learned.
Oh, absolutely.
However, the health department's numbers, the last number that I saw of the people that were hospitalized, and we're talking about quite a few now. I don't have the number right in front of me, but 86% of them were unvaccinated.
Okay.
Oh, no, this is what they said, not fully vaccinated.
Gotcha.
Because, that you're talking about as many as 3 vaccines maybe to be fully vaccinated.
Yeah, sure,
at this
exactly.
point.
And it would just be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out. And if, they're going to come out and say, oh, well, if you got vaccinated when you first were able to, that doesn't count anymore. You have to have a more recent, I don't know. Well, it's going to be interesting.
Well, and then what is one of the biggest areas where you have a lot of people together? Well, it's obviously our schools, right?
Right.
Well, we've got school starting here just next week. I haven't heard a peep from any of the school board members or anything on school websites or information about, COVID-19 protocols. Now, I'm sure that there's things still set up in the schools and like that, but there isn't any talk about internet learning or whatever, which was widely considered to be unsuccessful.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe
100%.
necessary, but unsuccessful.
I think that, the more we can get those kids back to normal, the better. And I think that our schools proved that they did a really good job with keeping the numbers down.
I think a lot of people were surprised. I thought, oh my gosh, what's going to happen when all those people get together?
You don't know.
No. And there were cases, but not a lot.
No.
Now, I will say this. I do have direct knowledge that there have continued to be cases at some nursing homes, but here's what it is. It's staff members.
Yeah.
Not residents. Go figure. But anyway, we'll turn away from COVID-19, but we will continue to keep an eye on that because, like I say, probably from June on, the cases have gone up just a little bit each week. They're not going down or you could say maybe static a week or so, but for the most part, just inching up there just a little bit. All right, Jackson City Council meeting was held last Monday evening, and it was a long one. And the reason was behind closed doors, they were learning about their labor contracts from their labor lawyer. But in the city of Jackson, here is the big news. The city of Jackson and the supervisors union, that is just 6 people who are supervisors. They unionized about 20 years ago in the city. Most city officials have not been happy that there is a union to the supervisors because they kind of consider them like bosses as opposed to rank and file workers.
Yeah,
but they did unionize about 20 years ago. And I mean, I can tell you the reason was there was a change in administrations and they were worried maybe that they wouldn't be kept as employees. So they unionized. They were allowed to unionize and they had a new contract come up and neither the administration or the union could get together on all the terms. They couldn't agree on a contract. So it went to mediation and then it went to what they call a fact finder. And the fact finder, which is appointed by the state, listens to both sides and then he or she makes a decision on the things they are disagreeing on.
Gotcha.
It is not binding arbitration, but is the next thing to it. There's no other step. When they had that vote on Monday evening, and this is after a long closed-door session, council voted to accept the fact finder report unanimously, 7-0. They were all for it. That same day, earlier in the day, we didn't find this out until Tuesday, the 6 union members voted. They voted 3 to support the fact finder, 3 against the fact finder. So they did not approve the fact finder report. So what happens now?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no other way to go unless the city wants to make what they call a final best offer, which you don't expect them to do because they accepted the fact finder.
Correct.
The supervisors union has 2 choices. They can just accept the fact finder report even though they didn't approve it, or they can go on strike.
Oh my.
Now, I've not received an official word from the union on that, but do not expect a strike. I don't expect that to happen unofficially. I've heard what their feeling are on that. I don't know whether they'll even take a vote to strike, but that is their only other option other than just accepting the terms of the contract. It wasn't that they disagreed on everything. It was just my understanding a couple of things that they couldn't quite come to agreement on. So it ended up going all the way to what they call the fact finder. All right, there's another labor contract that the city was negotiating, and that was with the non-uniformed employees. That's the rank and file employees, that work in the different departments that are unionized. Not the police department, they have their own contract.
Yeah,
And of
that's a
course,
whole other.
not the supervisors. So you're talking about a lot of employees. There are some employees that are non-union, but most are unionized.
Okay.
They had contract negotiations too, and they reached a tentative agreement. The terms have not come out yet, but the council unanimously passed a resolution approving the tentative contract. We don't know the terms yet. The union, rank and file, have yet to vote, but its leadership agreed to present the tentative contract to them. There's a good chance that it will probably be approved, but that vote by the rank and file will probably be taken very soon if it hasn't already.
Okay.
I was told that I would be informed when that vote was taken by one of the union representatives.
Gotcha.
But that was the meat of the council meeting in Jackson.
Wow, that's
on
a lot.
Monday evening. Another thing we want to tell you, remember we talked about these intersections where they're going to go from four-way, traffic lights to four-way stop
Yes.
signs? And in the transitional period, which is supposed to be this month, I'm not sure any of that's happened yet. The traffic lights are going to change from, red, green, and yellow to flashing red
Yes.
at both sides. And that's the
To make them
transition
four-way
to the stop
stops.
signs. In the meantime, four-way stop signs will be put up at all these intersections if they're not there already. They said that transitional period would go until Labor Day or just a little after. They have decided to extend the transitional period now through the end of the Apple Festival. They know that a lot of new people come in to town.
That might
and
make sense.
They don't want them to suddenly
Yeah.
drive through town and say, hey, man, this has changed, or not be paying attention or whatever, extra traffic in town. So they're going to give the public extra time to get used to it. So at any time, maybe somewhere already, we have flashing lights, flashing red lights instead of the regular traffic light signals at some of these intersections. But 7 different intersections in town are affected.
Yes.
And remember, when you approach one of these intersections, you see a flashing red light, that is like a four-way stop sign.
Stop.
You are supposed to stop. Even if you're on what you would consider the main road, you need to stop. If you don't see anybody else coming, then you go on. Not a rolling stop, you stop.
Like stop.
Right. And if the other person approaching the intersection gets there first, they get to go first. It's
Whoever gets there
It's not the
first.
person to the right or what or anything like that, or the person in the most expensive car or the biggest truck.
I mean, that may be what some people think, but that's not technically the law.
Right. So we can look for that to happen here, very soon if it isn't already at these 7 different intersections. And, when we're on TV, through these weeks, we'll give you progress reports and go over where those intersections are again.
Okay.
All right. In the city of Wellston, Jennifer, they are looking for a new Wellston city councilman. And the persons looking for the new Wellston city councilman are the Republican Party.
Sure.
They have the right to make the appointment because the person who resigned of the at-large seat in the city of Wellston was a Republican. And this
Makes
is
sense.
interim, so the person that gets appointed will serve through the remainder of the term. Fred Doobie, who actually resigned as the at-large councilman, didn't really leave council. He just went to the 3rd Ward position. That was where Rick Hudson, who is by the way, the brother of Wellston Mayor Charlie Hudson, he was appointed Wellston City Council president. That left a vacancy in the 3rd Ward. Fred Doobie, who was at large, moved over to the 3rd Ward seat because that's where he lives, So that was allowed, but that left a vacancy for at-large. At-large means you represent the entire city. Everybody votes on you. So the person who is going to replace Fred Doobie's position on at-large council, you have to live in the city of Wellston, you have to be a registered voter, and you have to be a registered Republican. All right, that's the criteria. But other than that, it can be anybody. The meeting where that appointment will be made by the Central Committee of the Republican Party is going to be Thursday, August the 18th, a week from this evening at 6 p.m. That will be just before the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. And if you're interested, you can mail a letter of intent with contact information to the Jackson County Republican Party at Post Office Box 271, Jackson. You can send resume information as well, and they will pass it off to the Central Committee members who vote on it. The Central Committee covers the whole county, but because it's a City of Wellston thing, only the Wellston City Caucus members, called the Northern County Caucus, they will be the only ones that will vote on actually replacing this person.
Okay.
Those persons are Arthur Matthews, Adam Massey, and Cheryl Raymer. So once again, interested persons are encouraged to contact the Jackson County Board of Elections to verify that they are an elector in the City of Wellston. In case you haven't voted for a while or you're not sure about your registration, you need to check with the Board of Elections and make sure you're qualified. So that's happening in the City of Wellston. All right, and those intersections in the City of Jackson that I wanted to tell you about, I'll go over those very quickly again because I know you have to be ready for this. But the traffic lights at the following intersections are gonna become flashing red lights.
Soak
very
it all
soon,
in.
and then eventually go to four-way stop signs by the end of the Apple Festival. Pearl Street and Portsmouth Street, Pearl Street and Broadway, Broad Street and Portsmouth Street, Broad Street and Broadway Street, State Street and High Street and Main Street, and Broadway Street and Water Street. I mean, I'll put you on the spot, Jennifer. Does this make sense to you?
Totally.
Okay.
But it's a lot to process, and you have to figure it out.
Right.
So basically, some of the red lights off of Main and downtown.
There's definitely some places where you're stopping and you're there for a minute and there's no other traffic. I mean, that is true. If everybody obeys the laws and they're careful, they drive defensively, I think it should work out very well.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people in the morning treating regular red lights like a stop sign.
Yeah, I know. Just go. There's no one here.
Right. Well, I think Brett Hinch probably talked about that. What he is concerned about is not so much people running stop signs as it is gunning to get through a red light.
Yeah, and he said that's stop
they
signs
see it
slow
changing.
people down.
Oh boy, I'm going through there.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
I will say this.
Not that you've ever done that before, Pete.
I really try not to. But when I go through and I see a yellow light changing, I want to certainly get under the light before it changes.
Sure.
And what really gets me is often the car behind me figures that they've got that right too. I'm going to hurry through because this guy's getting me through.
You think
They
that you're
definitely are
doing
running a red
something-
light.
Yeah, it's like, they're really running the red light.
But that there are people that do this. They see the light changing. They even look on the other side and they see it's about ready to change, and they're ready to go too. So you better be careful.
Yeah.
Because somebody may jump the gun a second or two because they will go before the light actually changes because they see it changing on the other side.
Yeah,
you see
and
it all
that's
the time.
not necessarily a good practice. So, but no, they're very thoughtful that the stop signs will, help the traffic patterns for sure. And he said, fair warning here, they are going to be monitoring and policing those intersections for a while. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
if
sure
you
they
do
are. I've seen
something
them
wrong,
out.
you're going to get it.
Right. I think there's lots of people who are guilty of the rolling stop on stop signs.
100%.
And that is, I mean, I can tell you that is against the law. You may think that it's.
I mean, a pause is not a
okay.
stop.
Are you speaking from experience, Pete?
I'm not a rolling. I'm not a rolling stopper. I'm not. I really do.
He abides by all
Pete's
the
like, I can
traffic
tell
laws.
you that you might not think that's a
No,
very good job.
I am a aggressive, assertive driver, but I'm also cautious.
He stops at every stop sign when he sees a police officer around.
A yellow light. A yellow,
Me too.
Me too.
A yellow light is not a red light. All right.
No.
I go through yellow lights.
Okay.
It means go real fast, right?
It just means gun it.
It means gun it.
Thus brings
Floor
us
it.
full circle to where the stop signs have come back into the
Right,
news.
and we've learned that there are yellow lights that are yellow for 1 second and yellow lights that are yellow for 5 or 6. So
You're right.
You got to kind of learn where those are too if you're trying to go by the letter of the law. All right, another story we want to give you from Wellston, Jen. Just outside of town, there's on State Route 327, not too far from World Outreach Ministries. There's a place called Harvest Crossing where there was going to be a subdivision at one time.
Okay.
This was platted out and proposed, and it never happened. Well, now that site is being revisited once again as a site for an apartment complex by Frontier Community Services out of Chillicothe. It has not happened. It's speculative at this time, but the issue has come before Wellston City Council because that location is just outside the city, and they would need sewer lines extended to that location. And that is a big expense and a big responsibility for the city of Wellston, but yet it's also a pro-development thing, and then you would get the income from the sewer bills once they're there. So this is something that's through the city of Wellston right now. At the last council meeting, Mayor Charlie Hudson addressed it. This location is just south of Berlin Crossroads. The city had abandoned sewer lines in that area back in July 2021 due to issues with inflow and infiltration. The sewer lines were already there, but they abandoned them, and there wasn't, a subdivision out there anyway, or any apartment complex or housing. So Frontier Community Service wants to know if the city would be interested in, getting those sewer lines to be active again. What Mayor Hudson said was, he stated that the city would only be interested in reconnecting that area to its sewer system if certain steps are taken by the company or the owner of the property, such as bringing all manhole covers above grade, ensuring that the right lift station pumps are in place to handle 46 apartments, that's what's proposed, and ensuring that the service lines are in working order. If everything works out and everything's a go, the mayor said, though, this could bring in $40,000 to $50,000 annually for the city's sewer fund. And, when you spread out the cost, that can make it a little less expensive for everybody.
Sure.
And by the way, the owner of Frontier Community Services is Jeremy Eisnagel.
Oh.
So he has acquired that property out there at some point. And so he would be involved in the process as well. Jeremy, of course, one of the better well-known realtors here in Jackson, owns that property out there. All right. The Vinton County County Caucus of the OVRDC met to prioritize local projects. What this means is the ARC, which is the Appalachian Regional Commission, has money every year for counties in our area because we're part of Appalachia.
Yes.
It goes through the OVRDC, which represents 12 area counties, including Jackson and Vinton. They have a group called the County Caucus at the county level to say, hey, if ARC funding is available, what would you want the funding for? And then they rate the projects on a regional basis, and there may be more than one project in a county or maybe no projects in a county, depending on what is decided at the federal and the state level. In Vinton County, they have decided the two top projects for funding through the ARC are the Garrett Ridge Waterline Project, which we've heard so much about, 52 homes that would be served by public water that don't have water at all now, unless they maybe have an unsafe well, potentially unsafe well, or they haul water.
They have to haul it in.
A lot of people haul water. And the second thing would be to improve or find a new location for the Vinton County EMS station. The current station is north of MacArthur on 93. It's considered inadequate in a number of ways. But those are the two projects there. Speaking of Vinton County, you can't talk about Vinton County or hear from Red Thompson without talking about tourism, as you know. They believe that is a big economic development potential driver for them because they're so close to the Hocking Hills. And Vinton County, of course, has a lot of natural beauty.
Of course.
One of the spotlighted areas is Zaleski. Zaleski is the little village located. There's one of the corporation signs. It is a corporated village and all. It is just south of Lake Hope State Park.
Yes.
So that is important. Lake Hope State Park A lot of people don't want to believe this, but it attracts 1 million visitors a year.
Can you believe
They wouldn't
that?
write it and put it out there if it wasn't true, would they?
No.
All right. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, they
You
do
read it on the internet, didn't you?
Yeah, more than one place on
It
the
must
internet.
be
though.
true.
Multiple internet places. All right, but they do have a lot of cabins, a very popular lake, a very popular lodge and restaurant there. You know, it is in southeastern Ohio one of the larger state parks, and just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Hocking Hills. So, but Zaleski is sitting there just south of Lake Hope State Park. They don't even have a convenience store or a gas station.
Right.
And it's a mystery to them why somebody hasn't invested in that just as a business thing, but it hasn't happened yet. So they're trying to get some public help for it. Another reason that they think something like a convenience store / gas station would go is because of the increasing popularity of the Moonville Rail Trail
Yes.
and the Moonville Tunnel, the haunted Moonville Tunnel,
Yes.
where hundreds of people go for events every year. There is the railroad crossing where you get on the trail to the Moonville Tunnel. If it were right on the highway, that would help. But you know, you have to.
Yeah, it's
you have
a
to
little
walk
out
or
there.
you have to walk or bike or drive back a kind of unimproved lane there, about a half mile,
Yeah.
to get to a place where you can then walk to it. I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the way, the Haunted Ohio is doing an event tonight at Moonville, an evening
Ooh.
walk up there.
Well, that sounds fun.
And that's been on the internet. I think that will prove to be popular as well. But on this,
There's the tunnel.
Yes, there it is. Thank you very James for showing us that. But
Do you see the ghost?
I don't.
I think I see one.
I don't have the ESP.
It's-
My cat does, but I don't.
The ghosts are down in the lower left-hand corner of your screen.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, they are. Okay. All right.
See
We'll
'em?
take.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, James has a
I made-
better pair
I
of
made-
glasses than I do.
I made Andy chuckle on that one.
Okay, another skeptic sitting over there, no doubt. But in Saturday's paper, we're going to have some coverage of the situation in Zaleski, and Red Thompson Jr.
Yeah.
has a column going in where he will once again address the opportunities for tourism in Zaleski because of the Moonville Tunnel.
Yep.
Okay, we mustn't forget about all the travail and losses and hardships in eastern Kentucky because of
Oh
the
my
floods.
goodness.
You know, we had a couple relief drives here where people sent materials and money. Well, the Adena health system has been doing a major one out of Chillicothe. I know that's up the road a little bit, but this is the last day to be able to contribute to that if you want to. From 8 to 4 p.m., you can go to the Packard Medical Education Center, which is right there on the hospital campus. They're outside of Chillicothe, and you can drop off donations there. The donation site will be clearly marked outside the building, so you can drop off items such as cleaning supplies, paper towels, bottled water, large plastic totes, shovels, push brooms, toilet paper, to-go food containers, non-perishable food items, industrial trash bags. All those things are items of high need there in that flood-stricken area of eastern Kentucky. Monetary donations are being accepted online by Adena as well. At this time, they're asking you not to bring clothing. But those are the things that you can do. They've had that relief drive going on all week there at the Adena Regional Health System. All right, I want to tell you about a thing that they have done at the Vinton County Middle School in conjunction with the University of Rio Grande Community College, and the MacArthur Center that they have right up there in MacArthur. They did what they call an Adulting 101 class at the middle school.
Great.
And here is one of the students at a graduation ceremony that Red Thompson Jr. Attended recently. That young man, his name is Gage Graves. He is getting a red chef's cap because he passed the Cooking 101 class.
Nice.
That is where some middle school students learn about basic things like cooking, basic auto mechanics,
Love that. Such a good idea.
money matters type thing.
Yes.
Learn about checking accounts and online banking and how you do those things. Now, there was nothing like that when I came through school. There was some course they started my senior year called Consumer Education that was supposed to teach some of those things. But why wouldn't these things be introduced somehow in the schools?
I don't know.
In the curriculum or something extracurricular?
I've always said we need to have, it should be something to graduate, common sense class.
Mm-hmm.
Just normal everyday things that you need to do
You know
and,
how
and
you
know
do
about.
how you do a tax return, or at least
Yeah.
introduce you to it. So but
Balance
when you
your
have
checking
when you have
accounts,
to
I
do it
mean-
as an adult, it's not, oh my God, what in the heck do I do? So this Adulting 101 class was held for several weeks in the summer at the Vinton County Middle School.
That's great.
It was a collaboration between the Vinton County Schools and the MacArthur Center of the University of Rio Grande Community College. Thought that was very neat. Red Thompson went up there to cover the graduation. We'll be covering that here in one of our next editions coming up.
Love that.
All right, a couple of really neat things happening this weekend that we know about, but I'm going to remind you, the Jackson Area YMCA doing its Community Appreciation Night this Friday. All sorts of things beginning at the Y at 6 o'clock. They're going to do at 8 o'clock that 5K glow run walk around town, starting at the Y and
Yes.
ending up at the Y. And this is to not only promote the Y, but also kind of to thank the community and confirm, hey, they've got a new floor there and a new era has begun at the Jackson Area YMCA. So they want the public to attend that. A lot of fun things. You can learn
Yep.
about how to use the weight room
A
equipment
lot of free
there.
stuff,
You can
yeah.
see the new floor there. There will be food available. Michael's Ice Cream will be out there with their bubbles. Pizza Hut will be there with doing some vending, and there'll be a taco truck out there as well.
Mhm.
Face painting, inflatables, a dunk tank, etc. I understand they'd like to dunk the horse queen.
No, I understood that they wanted to dunk the news guy.
Newspaper editors.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All
I heard
newspaper
that.
editors
All-
are
yeah.
fair game.
Well, so
That's
that
what I
must have
heard.
got lost in my email or something.
No, I have a valid excuse. We are having our beer club meeting on Friday night, so I can't be there.
Okay, all right. Well, you've got an excuse then, but it should be a lot of fun.
Yes,
That's
it's
this
going to be
Friday
great.
evening. Then on Saturday, of course, I know that Amanda talked about this when she was here
Yes.
yesterday. The Jack Stone Memorial Fly-In out at the airport, and that is one of the airplanes that should be there, weather permitting. That is a 1938 Boeing Stearman. It will be on display at the Fly-In this Saturday at the James A. Rhodes Airport in Jackson. This was a World War II training airplane. The caretaker of that airplane, Kevin Carroll, will be there as well.
That's right.
And so-
Weather's looking good, isn't it, James? So far,
Saturday.
It's good to me.
80 degrees
High
and
at
sunny.
80 degrees and
That's-
sunny.
Man, that's not bad.
We'll take it.
That's not bad. But this is an opportunity. The fly-in event. It's kind of like a continuation of the 50th year anniversary they had for the James A. Rhodes Airport last year. They were going to do it 2 years ago. COVID happened, and then they had a big thing last year. So why don't we do something like this every year? So smaller scale, but it should still be nice. It's
Oh,
a
it's
great
gonna be
way
so
for the
fun.
general public to go to a nice family event and also learn a bit about the airport and see what's out there.
Right on.
Right. And so once again, that is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The fly-in part will be 9 a.m. to 11. So it looks like there'll be certainly the weather will cooperate for airplanes to fly
Love
in.
that.
The public portion of the event is 11 to 3. Once again, airports on the airplanes on display. There will also be the High State Highway Patrol, the Butler County Sheriff there. There'll be a pancake breakfast also starting at 9 o'clock. Plane rides, weather permitting, also from Dewey Davenport as well. The airport is located on Keystone Road near Jackson. If you don't know where you're going, tell them how to get there, Jennifer.
To the airport?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're
so,
coming from Jackson.
so if you're coming from Jackson, just head on out. I'm trying to think the easiest way. So
More
head
than
on
one
out.
way.
Yeah, there's only one way. What?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Oh.
You got it.
Head on out 35 toward Gallipolis. You can turn right onto Standpipe Road, make an immediate left onto Hanley Road, and follow it down. I don't know, what would you say, about a mile and a half, and then you'll make
Can't miss it.
there's signs.
Yeah,
Yes,
once you get
you'll-
that far, you can't
You
miss
will
it.
see it. And there's
Yeah.
also signs off State Route 93 if you go that way.
Correct,
too.
and you can go
have to-
93
Yeah,
as
you have to
well.
bend a little bit, but you'll see it. Just follow the road. You'll
Just
get there.
Follow the road, and it's super easy. And again, the most important mile in the county, so you can't miss a mile-long runway. It's there.
Exactly.
It may be surrounded by corn, but it's there.
a lot of improvements have been made to
Yeah,
the Jackson
it's
County
amazing.
Airport in recent years.
Yes.
Out there, new terminal building that was built several
It's
years
so
ago.
nice.
Very, very important to the county, and it's not on a main highway or anything, so it's easy to ignore, forget, or take for granted. But we can't do that. All right. The rain came last Saturday, and so that really put a literal dampener on the free community swim day in Oak Hill. That was where the village was going to spring for a free day for everybody, kids and adults. Well, of course, it rained pretty much all day.
Yeah.
They're going to do it Saturday again.
Oh, good. Okay.
This Saturday, the free
That's
community
great.
swim day in Oak Hill at the Margaret Ann Pool there on Washington Street.
Much better day.
The pool will be open from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission for everybody. The Oak Hill Village Council has allocated $500 to take care of the expenses. So, because they don't print money, so the village is actually throwing in $500.
That's
so
awesome.
They can pay the staff and take care of the expenses involved in letting everybody in free. By the way, the pool will be closing for the season on Saturday, August the 14th. I know it's still hot in August, but attendance, of course, is driven by the school kids.
Well, sure.
And school is starting.
Also, don't forget, and I don't know do you have a story about the dog swim?
Yes, the dog swim. I'm glad you said
this
that.
Sunday?
I didn't print out a release on that, so I might have forgot to say it. But it's such a neat event.
I'll be there.
That means that the last day for the Hillcrest pool, the city pool in Jackson, is Sunday. Actually, for the public, I think the last day would be Saturday.
Yes.
Because on Sunday, it's for the doggies.
It all goes to
it's
the
for the
dogs.
doggies and their owners, and that makes for some cute pictures and scenes. And
it is
The
hilarious.
dogs are as happy as any kid in the pool, it seems like to me.
You are not kidding. And you see dogs of all shapes and sizes just swimming away in the pool. And so I'll try to grab, I'm planning on being there and Miss Marley. So we'll try to grab some photos.
That's
and
good.
whatnot.
I think Jeremiah Shaver, you'll probably run into him out there.
Okay.
And our man James Hamilton will be down at the fly-in, taking some
Very
pictures and
good,
doing some coverage for us. So it looks like weather-wise, it's going to be a great weekend all the way around.
It's going to be great.
This is an indoor thing, but this is worth going to as well, and that is the quilt show at the Marque Cultural Arts Center.
Oh, cool.
That actually got kicked off on Thursday evening, August the 4th, with their opening night reception. That is one of the veteran quilters in Jackson County, and there are a few.
Yes.
Sharon Brown, there with that very interesting design, colorful design that she has. The Marque, of course, located in downtown Jackson. And you can you can go in free to the gallery, of course, whenever it's open. And it's open now. The current hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 5. So that's a lot of opportunity to see those quilts. And from years and years of covering the Marque and the monthly exhibits that they have, or every 6 weeks, how often it is, I'm always amazed at those quilts when they're all together on the wall. Somebody say quilt show, art. All you have to do is take a look.
Take a look at them.
Take a look at the time that goes into that.
Just absolutely unbelievable.
And it is a lot of the same ladies who have done it for years and years. And there's a few younger ones, second or third generation quilters, most of them. So that is definitely worth a look-see and doesn't cost you a dime.
That's right.
All right. Up MacArthur Way, Zen Brothers Automotive, which is a fairly new business in MacArthur. They are going to have a school supply cruise-in. They call it a last-minute one because school starts next week.
Love it.
But it will be at the old McClure's restaurant lot there on Main Street.
Okay.
From 2 to 6 p.m. The school will have a school supply list on what is needed. It is on the Facebook page for Zen Brothers Automotive. But basically, any school supplies, basic school supplies will be accepted.
Great.
Food and drinks will be sold. There'll be a 50-50 raffle as well. And you can also bring, if it's inconvenient for you to buy some school supplies, you can make a monetary donation, and they'll make sure to buy what is needed for the schools. All money at this last-minute school supply drive will go to provide local children with school supplies that are needed for the upcoming school year. This is in the Benton County Local School District. All right, and one other nice thing that I wanted to tell you about, Jennifer. The Hope United Methodist Church does this, and they do this once a month during the good weather and when COVID isn't going on. But it is called their free community meal. Sometimes it's a lunch, sometimes it's a dinner in the evening. This coming week on Wednesday, it will be a free community lunch. The church is located on the corner of First Street and New York Avenue, one of the larger churches in Wellston. anybody can go. You don't have to be a church member or whatever. It's not just, for folks who, it's hard for them to get a meal. It's a social thing.
Yeah.
And
just
you
come
can
on
go
out.
there and sit down. You can do takeout service as well. But this week at the community lunch, they'll be having chicken salad on a croissant, chips, and fresh watermelon. Takeout service, once again, will be available. They do something different every month, whether it's dinner or lunch, and it's always home-cooked, delicious food.
Heck
Those
yeah.
church people are very, very friendly, and just so many nice things go on. We just don't have time to tell you about all of them.
No, you're right. And that makes your job worthwhile, right, Pete?
There are many more nice things than bad things.
Yes, we hope.
but we'll tell you about all of them to the degree that I can find out.
That's right.
Hey, one more thing to talk about before we get
Yeah.
out of here. We had an imposter yesterday, Jennifer.
I saw that. What the
Yeah.
heck happened?
So
don't be a jerk.
Yeah, so I don't know. Somebody created a fake Main Street TV page on Facebook yesterday and was telling people that they had won the Kenny Chesney ticket giveaway. That
That's
has not
mean.
happened yet.
Yeah, we haven't even
Yeah.
given the tickets
So
away yet.
tomorrow on the show, live on the show, we will be drawing 2 winners of 2 4-packs of Kenny Chesney tickets.
That's exactly right. And you still have time to enter. So go
Yeah.
to the Main Street TV page, comment, share, and like the post. And that will get you put into the drawing. It's that
Yeah.
simple. So, yeah, and we've had quite a few entries, I think.
Yeah. But, everybody has an equal chance of winning, but nobody's won yet.
That's right. So if you got one of those things, don't click on it because God knows where it's going to take you or what it's going to do
It's
to
gonna steal your identity.
your computer or
probably.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be careful about that. So, all right. Well, have to get out of here for the day. Thank you, Pete, for spending your morning with us.
That is all right. Always glad to come here and spend time.
Of course. And thank you to James and Andy. Andy's behind the scenes too today, learning
here.
all the ropes since
I'm a
James.
part of this.
Yes. James is leaving us next week to go. Well, he'll be back. He's just going on a vacay.
Okay.
A well-deserved vacay for having to put up with all of us. So.
Well,
No comment.
No comment. All
right.
right. Have a great day, everyone. We appreciate you so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back here tomorrow on Friday to give away those Kenny Chesney tickets. Bye-bye.